Hi, in this video I'd like to just say a few words about instinctive archery. Instinctive archery is a form of archery where you shoot verbal, you don't have any sights to line up with your target to aid you in aiming and firing, like say with a rifle. Or the Olympic archers, they have fancy bows, probably cost thousands, with weights on them and sights, fancy sights. They pace out a particular length, say 50 yards, pace it out, stand on it, set the sights at 50 yards, shoot and fire. And this is target practice, target archery, like I say, which is what's used in the Olympics. But in this verbal archery, shooting purely instinctively, it's more of a hunting form of archery. It's what's gone on for hundreds of years, from medieval times, particularly in this country, England. Young kids were forced to shoot bulls a certain number of times a day, all through their lives, by law, so that they got proficient with a bow, an English longbow. This is an American recurve wooden fiberglass hunting bow. They used to pull tremendous weights, 100 pound pull, 80 pound pull, because they were grown up with it. As they grew up, they got into being able to do this. The idea of that was so that the king at the time, he was having a war probably with another area of England, or France, Spain, something like this, he could call on all the peasants and all the farmers in the knowledge that they can all shoot a bow. So he'd an instant army, so to speak, recruit everybody, and he'd have an army so they could go to battle. And that's how instinctive archery became to the forefront, so to speak. It's also a hunter-gathering thing. In those days, there were no supermarkets to go and buy your food, so you'd have to shoot it. If you wanted meat or poultry, you'd have to shoot the damn thing. There wasn't much farming going on, you know, so you had to get your own. And it's like a hunter-gatherer. And you have this inbuilt DNA, this instinct built into your body. It doesn't come to the forefront in modern life unless you're doing something like this. Something similar, what can I say? It's like driving a car. You don't have sights on the bonnet of a car to take you through a gap. When you've learned to drive with practice and what have you, you instinctively know how to judge the distance and go through this gap driving a car. So it's a similar thing with the instinctive archery. But the only thing like with this instinctive archery is you still, in every form of archery, have certain rules which have to be adhered to if you want to hit anything. One of them is to stand comfortable, usually a shoulder width, sideways on obviously for the target, and just relax, don't be tense. Try and relax your muscles, your shoulders and what have you. And also pull a bow that you're comfortable with. This bow is a 50 pound pull hunting bow. It's a very flat trajectory, and it has like a big hitting power. You could kill stuff with it. Like I say, in this country you can't hunt, not like in America and the United States or what have you. People are going around and hunting game. This would be capable of doing that type of thing. It can kill a pretty big animal. But here we don't do that. We have a sport called field archery, and what that is, it simulates hunting. It's set in woodland, and you have targets, various sized targets of animals at various ranges as you go through the woods on a course. And they have a kill area and a wound area and so on. And they're all different scores for where you put your arrow. And the thing about that is you can't stride out a distance and set a sight, because you don't know how far away you are. You shoot one arrow from one position, and you shoot 3 arrows. The third arrow will move probably to another one under a tree, and you may be having to crouch down to shoot round something. You know, it's not something you can use sights with, in my opinion. although people do, they have categories in field shoot where people with long bows shoot against one another, people with recurves shoot against one another, and people with compound bows with sights on them, one thing or another. But they're all in different categories, because obviously this is easier to shoot than say a long bow, because they haven't got the same power unless you're pulling a hell of a weight. So I'd say the longbow is the hardest thing to shoot. This is probably one of the next hardest things to get used to. You're going to have to shoot it purely by instinct. Now that's what I'm on about in this video. What is instinct? It's just something you're born with and something you have to practice and relax and just relax. Don't get worked up. Because the more nervous you are, you'll shake about. You won't hit anything. But always adhere to those same rules. That is, you want to pull the ball back the same length every time, so that if you have one good shot, the chances is if you do the same, you can have another good shot. Whereas if you were pulling at different lengths past your ear and not far enough, the arrow is going to go in a different place. If I pull it back too far, it'll go higher up. If I don't pull it back far enough, it'll go to the ground. So therefore you're not going to replicate two shots the same. This is a lot of mistakes people make. So you have to stick to the rules. That is, always draw your ball back to the same length. I use my middle finger in the corner of my mouth, and that way I know that I've pulled it back to the same length as I did in the last shot or the shot before that, etc. Or I will do in my next shot. So if I get a good shot, I'm going to try and replicate it with one even better, not worse by being erratic. You've got to be think about what you're doing, but don't let it get too intense. You've got to relax, but always try and practice and do the same thing. And one of the main things, in my opinion, is to relax. Don't try to pull a ball that's too strong for you. So like this now, I pull this ball back, and I'll just shoot one, you see. Then I pull the ball back, I shoot. I'm pretty fast in my actions, a pretty rapid shot, if you know what I mean. Some people they'll pull the ball back. That's a powerful ball, like this 50-pound bullet. For me, that's a pretty strong pull. Pull it back, and if I was to pull this back and hold it on the target for any length of time, I'm beginning to shake. You know, you start shaking and trying, your muscles are sore. For one thing, you're not going to enjoy the sport. The idea is to do archery because you enjoy archery. It's what you're getting a pleasure out of. You don't want to be aching and straining your arms and one thing or another. So shoot a ball what suits you, poundage wise. You'll get just as accurate with a weaker ball as you will with a stronger one, eventually. Just the lower poundage will be, you'll have to shoot higher and drop onto it. I mean, you're not trying to kill a target, not in England. You're just trying to hit the target and get a good score. So you can do it with a much less powerful ball than what this is. But I've been brought up with a pretty strong ball from being a kid, and it suits me. I don't think there's a lot really more to say about it than relax. Try and get a decent stance so you relax. It feels within your comfort zone. And then shoot. Draw the same distance and keep still. That's what it's all about. I'll just shoot one or two for you. See what I mean? That's one. That's a fairly decent shot, so I want the next shot to be the same as the first couple of shots here now. And the only chance that I can do that is to make sure I do in this next shot the same as I did in my other shot and try and improve on it. So I want to pull back at the same distance, keep it still and loose. Like I say, I'm pretty rapid. I like to shoot fastish. I don't take a bead on a target and hold it for long. I never have done it. It suits me, and I seem to get better results by being pretty quick with it. You know, like aim, fire, load up. Aim, fire. I think that's about all I can say on that, on instinctive archery. But that's basically what instinctive archery is. Bare bow archery, no sights. And remembering that you still have to go through all the usual techniques as any other archery, with sighted archery, whatever type of ball. Everyone has to relax, stand correctly, and relax. Don't pull things that are too powerful for you. Like I say, you're not trying to kill anything. You're not killing the target. You're just hitting the target. I think if you just practice, that makes perfect. Well, I don't say perfect, but it helps you along the lines of being perfect. Anyhow, nice to have spoken to you. See you.